Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan, and today we're going to talk about something that is very interesting. Not sure if you're aware of this or not, but if you're not, pay attention because this could open your world drastically to something new and interesting. So, we're going to talk about something called fat washing. So, fat washing is you could take a whiskey, in this case we took a rum, and you take a fat. Now it can be any kind of fat. It can be, bacon fat. It could be olive oil. It could be butter. It could be, pick a fat. Doesn't matter. You take fat, and the easiest way that I've seen to do this is if you take a fat, let's say butter, and you melt the butter, or you take the butter at room temperature and you put it in a Ziploc 1-gallon bag. You take your whiskey or your rum or your alcohol or whatever sort, dump it into that bag, and then take and rub that alcohol into that butter. What you're trying to do is essentially break down that butter and mix the butter and the whiskey or alcohol together as much as possible. It's actually easiest if you already have melted butter to do this. So if you took melted butter and dumped it in and then added a bunch of whiskey to it, and you want to mix it all around really, really good. Then what you want to do is take that seal it up good so it doesn't leak or anything. And you want to take that concoction and put it in the freezer for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, no more than an hour. Because you're not trying to freeze the liquid. What you're trying to do is cool that fat down to the point where it congeals. Then what you do is just take and clip off the corner of that bag and drain out all of the alcohol. And you're left with the butter, the fat, whatever fat you chose to use still in the bag, right? So if you did this with bacon grease, you could take a whiskey or a vodka or something, and you could impart that fat flavor into the alcohol. So if you did it with bacon, you could put that bacon flavor into a vodka, let's say, or a rum, or a gin, if you were going to make a Bloody Mary. Okay? So, you cool it down, that fat congeals, you cut the bag, you empty out the alcohol, and you're left with this butter. Now, some of the alcohol flavor gets imparted to the butter. So I did it with rum, and I ended up with rum-flavored butter and butter-flavored rum. And what I did was I followed How to Drink, and I forget the guy's name, and I'm sorry, but shout out to him and that channel. If you're not following it, you definitely need to follow How to Drink. It's a great follow. But he was doing hot buttered rum, and I followed his method for doing this. So I started with butter. I started with a stick of butter, and I browned the stick of butter on the stove. Then I took that butter, and I added, I did an Appleton Estate. So I did this Appleton Estate. After doing a taste testing of all the rums that I bought, I decided that this Appleton Estate and this Plantation Overproof rum were going to be the two rums that I used to do the fat washing. So this is the Overproof, and this is the Appleton Estate. And you can see that it's cloudy. There's still some fat particulates in the rum, and it settles out to the bottom. But this is because this rum is shelf stable, the fat washed rum is still shelf stable, and so you can mix this and leave it, and it'll be fine for a long time. It won't go rancid. But what it does is, in this case, I used that browned butter, and it imparted that browned butter flavor into these rums. So then I took that fat washed rum, and I made hot buttered rums with it. So what you do then is you take sugar. So I use the Morena, is that what it's called? Morena raw sugar. And you take, I don't know, maybe like a half a teaspoon, put it into a coffee mug, put in 2 ounces of the fat washed rum, and then fill up the rest of, or then add, not fill up, but add 4 ounces of hot water. It's a hot drink to that. If you want, you can take a dollop of that fat washed butter, or rum washed butter that you had, that rum flavored butter, add that back into your hot buttered rum. You top it with a little bit of baking spices or put a cinnamon stick in it or something like that, and you have an absolutely delectable treat for sitting in front of the fire when it's below zero or during Christmas and the holidays. Everybody will like it. It is an absolutely delicious drink. So what I started doing, because I had all of this rum flavored butter that I was like, what in the world am I going to use this for? I started putting it in my coffee in the morning. People put butter in their coffee. It's kind of a newer thing that people started doing on the West Coast. I mean, it's probably been around for thousands of years, or hundreds of years anyways, but people, it's kind of a trendy thing nowadays, or at least it was maybe in the last 10 years. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to try that. If you drink coffee, treat yourself to taking some of that rum butter. Take a tablespoon of that rum butter, put it in your travel mug of coffee for the morning. You will not be let down. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. But with these rums, now these rums, what it did was it left all the flavor profile of the rum, but it added the nice flavor of browned butter without adding the viscosity. Like, it has all the taste of butter without any of the consistency or mouthfeel of butter, if that makes any sense. So we'll try a little bit of this here. You know what? If I put it in this glass, I'm going to have to clean that glass really good because the butter's not going to come out so good. So here we go. It's still, it smells like butter and it smells like rum. Ooh, that's that overproof rum. So what it does, it cuts down on any of the bitterness. So this is why it works out really, really good for whiskey. If you have a whiskey that has a bit of tannic barrel impact, that bitterness on the back end, if you fat wash it, you're going to lose that bitterness, and it's also going to accentuate some of those underlying flavors. So what this accentuated then was the sweet rum flavor. Some of the spices, the baking spices, so this plantation rum had a little bit of that baking spice in there, some of the anise and clove. It took away the bitter back end of those flavor notes, but it accentuated those flavors and made it really, really, really nice, along with the sweetness of the rum. But like I said, it brings that butter flavor, that browned butter flavor, into the mix without the heftiness and the viscosity of the butter. It's absolutely wonderful. Hopefully you give this a try sometime. Again, to make the hot buttered rum, take like half a tablespoon, or half a teaspoon, excuse me. Let's start over. Take half a teaspoon of the Morena, raw sugar, dump it into a coffee mug, add 2 ounces of a fat washed, in this case brown butter washed rum, and then 4 ounces of hot water, and then a dollop, maybe a tablespoon back of that rum butter from the fat washing process. Throw a cinnamon stick in there, mix it, and serve, and it is absolutely phenomenal. Hopefully you enjoy it. Give that a try if you haven't already. Hot buttered rums are a thing from, the early 1900s that everybody used to like. If you are a fan, it's funny, our kid, he's only 3, but he's a big fan of White Christmas, just like my grandmother was. Great movie. Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, and you know what? It's just a good movie. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. Check out White Christmas. But while they're on the train and they're going to Vermont, they're talking about how they want to have hot buttered rum, light on the butter, and that's the night. I think that movie was made in the 1950s. So early 1900s, anyways. Hot buttered rum was a favorite, and I think that it should make an appearance again. So there you go. That's what I have to say about it. But like I said, I tried the Appleton. Let's try that Appleton. So this plantation was really, really good. But here's the Appleton. Ooh. Appleton's really good too. So if you go back and watch my review of the neat pours of these, this Appleton was very vegetal, young, kind of bright. When I fat washed it with that brown butter, it made it into a butterscotchy, caramelly sweetness, but it's not overly sweet. It's not like a butterscotch candy or a caramel, like a Christmas caramel. It's not that sugary, sweet forward. It has the essence of those, the flavor of those without the sugary sweetness of those. Excuse me. But man, that's good. The vegetal consistency, gone. That greenness is gone from the flavor profile. The butter really helped that one out. Either one of these would be perfect for you to fat wash with some brown butter. Just, take a stick of butter, put it in a pot, cook it on the stove, cook it till it's good and dark brown. Not burnt, but good and dark brown over a medium-high heat. And then take it and throw some whiskey in a bag and throw the butter in with it and throw it out in the freezer for 40 minutes. Cut that bag, let the whiskey drain out, or let the rum drain out. And I said whiskey before, but I meant rum. Let the rum drain out, and then save that butter. Use that in your coffee in the morning, and then take the rum and use it for hot buttered rum. There you go. Hopefully you guys will give that a try sometime. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's another riff on spirits, and if you like whiskey, there's a good chance you might like that drink, and you might like a couple of the rums. So give those a shot. Check them out if you have a chance. There is definitely some appeal to it. I don't do a lot of mixed drinks, mainly because I'm lazy, and I like the flavor of whiskey, so I tend not to make too many mixed drinks here, even though I got the shaker and the tin and got everything to do it. I just haven't done it. So one of these days, I'll start making some mixed drinks, but the hot buttered rum was like my first go of that, and so hopefully you give that a go as well. And as always, thanks for watching. You guys have yourselves a great day. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. It's going to be a while before I get my hands on some more whiskey to review, so if you haven't already, check out some of my older content. And stay tuned for when I get my hands on my next bottles. I'm really trying to get my hands on a Stag and a E.H. Taylor single barrel. Those are my 2 unicorns at the moment. Under this new distributor and the new methodology, our local people have to call into the distributor to place an order, and they're calling like 300 to 400 times a day trying to get a hold of people in order to put their order in with the new Buffalo Trace distributor. So I don't know. I thought it would be a good deal with this new distributor as far as getting more stuff available, but I went from being able to buy Buffalo Trace for $20 all day, every day. There was always cases of this stuff available to, I haven't seen a bottle of Buffalo Trace in almost a year now. So I'm not so sure. I had my fingers crossed that this was a blessing, that there was going to be a new distributor in the process, but it does not seem like that is the case. It seems like things actually went backwards. So who knows if I'll be able to get my hands on anything, but if I do, I'll let you guys know. I'll share you the review, but looking for a Stag, Stag, formerly Stag Junior, and looking for an E.H. Taylor single barrel. So stay tuned for if I get my hands on one of those. As always, you guys have yourselves a great day. Catch you in the next video. Try a hot buttered rum. Till then, have fun. Catch you later.